Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Well, the video game community now, when we're talking about all major systems, I want to say the state of it, it's fragmented. It's fragmented. There used to be a time back in the E3 days that for over 20 years gave us a place to unite, right? A place to just sit back and watch in awe all the new games, all the new technologies, all the new controllers. That was the place to be, and how times have changed. There's other things going on, but this has been in the back of my mind, right? And little by little, for those of us who are of a certain age, right, all the things that we held dear slowly but surely are going away. Whether it's the video game magazine, whether it's the cartridge, whether it's physical media, all those things are becoming, relics of the past. They're no longer parts of the mainstream. That's really where a lot of nostalgia begins, right? And, to think of a world without E3 has become easier every year since the pandemic, I guess. But it really started with Nintendo breaking off, right? Because there is power to having your own event, right? There is power to controlling whatever narrative is out there. You don't have to worry about winning E3, and those old competitions we used to have. I put this picture up here because, those were the days where especially during this time. For me, it was overwhelming. What do you choose? Do you choose the GameCube? Do you choose Dreamcast? Do you choose PlayStation? Do you choose Xbox? I wanted all four systems, but I couldn't have them, right? So you have to decide. At that point, I had PlayStation, and I really wanted an Xbox. And I just couldn't have it just at that particular time. But I remember this particular picture and saying, "That's my dream right there. I want all of them." Eventually I got all of them, right? But what a time that was. Realistically, from the fifth to the seventh generation for me was a magical time because, I could have all those things. You could have the magazines, you could have the sampler discs, right? You could have everything that we think of nostalgia now when we think about the retro community. We had it back then, and man, let me tell you, there was a lot of people that didn't realize it. I did. I did because during those times I was very limited. So I cherished every single thing that I got. And not only did I cherish the things that I had, I cherished the things that I couldn't get at the time. The things that I wanted, I would go to the stores and put my hands on a GameCube and put my hands on an Xbox, and look at the memory cards for the Dreamcast and just sat in awe of the technology of what could be, and all the different things. And I thought it would last forever. I thought in my mind, those companies, those four companies would be around forever, and it would be a forever, console war. And, I have to say, guys, I have to tell you, I think it would be a better gaming environment instead if that would still be the case. If you still had a strong Sega out there with its console. But that's not what reality is today, But it doesn't stop me from dreaming, right? It doesn't stop me from reminiscing. That's, we can only wish, right? That's why I invented my own multiverse where, Funkoland is still a store, where I could still go to Montgomery Ward's and buy video games, get my Intellivision video games, those old stores, these old places are really at the core and the soul of my video game collecting and my video game hoarding. And as crazy as the world is today for me, right, this retro gaming, this space, these pieces of plastic that I collect, that I hardly play sometimes because I have no time, become my temple of peace away from all the chaos and all the crap that's going on in everyday life, right? And every time I see one of these giants fall, right, it just reminds me that times are changing, right? That video games are not what they used to be, that the video game players themselves are not us anymore, right? And this is something very hard for a lot of you, a lot of people like me to realize that, you know, people watching my videos are not the majority of the video game market. There might be the majority of game hoarders. There might be the majority of people that go up to a retro store with absolutely no budget in mind, right? It doesn't matter. You're going to buy what you're going to buy. You might say to yourself, okay, this time it's only going to be 100, it's only going to be, $200, whatever. And then you get there and you're just like, you can't say no. There's always something there. There's always something new. There's always something that you've always wanted, right? And it kind of keeps that fire alive. And that's really what's missing today, right? Is that fire in gamers. Yeah, sure, there's a lot of fanboys. There's people that love the Xbox, that love PlayStation, that enjoy Nintendo, but it's nowhere near like it was back then, especially during this time that you're looking at right here. You had to make a choice, right? For those of you of a certain age who didn't have the economic power to buy multiple consoles, you're sitting there at an altar and you had to pull down the gauntlet, man, and you had to say, okay, I have to choose my religion here. What religion am I going to choose? Am I going with PlayStation? Am I going with Xbox? Is it Nintendo and its GameCube? Is it the Dreamcast, right? Probably the closest thing people have to it today is choosing their cell phone plans or choosing their phone carrier, choosing Apple or Android. That's probably the closest experience people will have today. And, with the growing of the video game cell phone market, that's where a lot of the industry is going, and that's the essence of what you have to pick in the marketplace today. So what people are going to pick in the future is not necessarily what we picked in the past, and that is exactly the reality that we have to live in. But on the next assignment, we're going to delve into those markets, and we'll see what we can find out there that can give us that kind of satisfaction.